All right. Welcome, everyone. I am here live with Ged. How's it going, buddy? It's been a while.
It has been a hot minute, as the kids would say.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't done this in a long time. You haven't been here in a long time since you moved to a small hick town far, far, far away.
It takes something like Kenobi to bring me out of hiding.
Yeah, not our friendship. For anybody who's watching
No.
this, our friendship doesn't bring him out back to the city. It's only something Star Wars related that would ever bring him back.
Book of Boba Fett didn't even bring me back.
Right?
Yeah. Had to go for the big dog.
Well, you couldn't have found a bigger dog than the launch of Kenobi today.
So Kenobi.
Yeah.
Interesting premiere.
Yep.
To say the least.
Yep.
I feel like I felt a wide range of emotions and thoughts.
Yep.
And just as a kind of an overall bigger picture thing, I think the overall impact and my feeling on these first two episodes are largely going to depend on where it goes by the end of the series.
Okay.
That's just my mental thing right now, because there's certain things I like and there's certain things not that I don't like. I have questions about.
Okay.
And there will be spoilers. We're reviewing this, right? So be warned now, because I'm just going to jump right into the very first one because it's fresh in mind.
Hold on. Before we get into spoilers, I think obviously this is going to be met with a little bit of turmoil. We've obviously seen some other stuff people have posted about, possible mediocre starts. In my opinion, the hardest thing to do with this series was to cast it properly.
Mm-hmm.
And when you and I were watching it, the first thing I said was, regardless of the outcome, I think they've nailed casting. I think Leia is perfect. Whoever is playing her is amazing.
Yep.
She's sassy. Obviously, Obi-Wan's Obi-Wan. I think the Inquisitors are really well done. I think Owen is really well done. I think the way they're portraying the townspeople in Tatooine are great. So before the story even starts, I think that they checked the first box really well.
Yeah, I think it's come really to expect it with all Star Wars shows. The aesthetic, the look, the vibe, the feel, everything's going to look on point.
But the casting was a big variable.
Yeah, and there was a lot of controversy about, the Inquisitors and how they looked, because they're being interpreted from animation up. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I was fine with their appearance and voices. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. Like the Grand Inquisitor obviously has people were obviously, losing their minds that, if you did a Pawan dude like Tion Menden in Revenge of the Sith on Utapau, and Grand Inquisitor is the same species, like how does he look nothing like it, right? I get those complaints, but I was fine with the Grand Inquisitor. They obviously it looked like he had a little bit of Sith eyes going on, which people complain about. So it looks like they did some touch-ups, which I thought was nice.
Yep.
And like the fifth brother doesn't really look anything like the fifth brother from Rebels, but he was a gray-skinned alien, so I thought it was fine. It worked for me. I like the little voice modulation they had going on.
Yeah.
Little undertones with him.
And Han from Fast and the Furious. It's weird to see him play. Weird to see him play a bad guy, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So all that stuff checks out.
So now we can dive into it. I wanted to make sure I said the one piece.
And I guess the other thing too is Deborah Chow. I thought the direction was good. Like it was very.
It's telling a story.
It flowed. It was set up. I
don't know what people are expecting for what those first two episodes, but there has to be. There has to be development.
Yeah, and there has to be, like, we need broken Obi-Wan. We need Obi-Wan who's suffering, right? Like, he's in a really dark place, which they said he was going to be, and that's kind of what we got. It wasn't going to be balls to the wall action to start.
Absolutely.
But, speaking of the start, we got another scene from Order 66 of the Jedi Temple, which was
awesome.
So good. So an unknown or unnamed Jedi. I don't know who it was, if anyone knows. I'm assuming it's just some new character. But anyways, protecting that group of little younglings was very, very cool to see.
Yep.
And it looks like they might have, I don't know, maybe escaped. It looks like they're up on that top thing and they had the kind of the clear path there going on. Then you feed 10 years later into the story we get. And, I led to it earlier. Let's just jump right into the Inquisitor piece. And, Reva kills, well, we don't know if kills, but impales the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Which is a little head scratching.
That's not supposed to happen.
Not supposed to happen.
It's supposed to be a Kanan Jarrus thing.
Yeah. He's supposed to follow his death on the Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
So I went back and looked at the trailer. He's in no shots in any of the other planets and scenes we've seen. So I don't know. Is he just going to be in a bacta container and on the sidelines for the rest of the time, or
him and Cobb Vanth, they're just gonna cuddle?
Yeah, I really hope it's not. Again, I haven't read the leaks that have come out that I know lots of you guys like reading. But for me, not knowing anything, it's strange.
Yeah, but
maybe people complain about the look so much they just decide to kill him off, and then they're going to recast him mid-series.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike the idea of them going off script.
Yeah.
Again, you and I've talked about this many times when it comes to Star Wars properties. You have 50 years of fans.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to make all of them happy. I don't hate the fact that they made a little left turn at First Street, because
there's a lot of background on the Grand Inquisitor, though. Like, there's comics, like all of Rebels. I feel like he's alive. I just think now the story is firmly Reva.
So
the third
who
sister.
is Reva?
Yeah,
there's something there.
She has this bone to pick with Kenobi. Does she have a history with Kenobi, whether it's training? Again, this is 10 years in the future. So if say, I don't know how old she is, say she's early 20s.
Yep.
She'd only be like 10 or 11. So maybe Kenobi doesn't recognize her, but maybe there was an impact there. And then the other thing the Grand Inquisitor plays in, that she's trying to gain favor with Vader and get more power.
Lord Vader.
Which is, I guess, that could be the other route too. She's just power hungry. But what did you think about the dynamic of the infighting with the Inquisitors? Because from what the little I know from Rebels, I didn't read any comics or books that have them, but from Rebels and from like the Fallen Order game, there wasn't, I don't know. I feel like they're living in fear of failure of Vader, right? Like, Vader kills the second sister because she fails him in Fallen Order. Vader, when the Grand Inquisitor lets go and he says there's far more things more terrifying than death, and like he kind of lets go when in the battle with Kanan. To me, I always thought that meant that there's no way I'm going to fail bringing this rebel cell in and have to face Vader with the failure.
Yeah, that's
always I would took it. So like, Reva going off script so much and killing the Grand, stabbing, little stabby the Grand Inquisitor. It seems like, I don't know if, like, is Vader going to reward that, or is Vader going to be like pissed? Like, read the room, Reva. Like, I don't know if that's.
I'm gonna say reward.
Yeah, but even the Grand Inquisitor says in the very first time when he's like scolding her, he said, like, he's not yours to find. Like, that is Vader's task. You know what I mean? I can't help but she's
could be a lot unknown there, though, right? Like, he could have a separate conversation. He could have a quiet agenda with her as well.
Yeah, it seems like she's making, again, the Sith are all about power and blah blah blah. Again, Inquisitors aren't Sith per se, but the dark side, right?
Yeah. They're basically the bad version of the Jedi Templars.
Yeah, it seems like she's making a power play, and I don't think it's going to go the way she thinks it's going to go.
Yeah, I would agree.
But yeah, so that's one of the storylines I need to see play out to know how I feel about it. Because right now I have a big old question mark on how the Inquisitors are currently, functioning. What did you think about the inclusion? So I only seen one leak. The leak was about Leia. We got that exact storyline. What are your thoughts now seeing it actually play out, having Leia?
I thought they casted her perfectly.
Yeah.
I love the Bail Organa character, so it's great to see them involved. I really liked like how defiant and sassy and like her parents she is. So that not fitting into the Senate, not wanting to be a senator, little lines like, there are many ways to lead. You just need to find yours. Like, there's such neat, tiny little foreshadowing moments there about finding her own way. And, Bail Organa understanding who she is, whereas Bail's wife is really trying to form her into that senator.
Yeah.
Bail's quietly just helping her become who she is, right?
Yeah, and a rebel.
I think that her character and that family dynamic so far might be the best part of the show.
Yeah, I liked it was a pleasant seeing it on screen. I thought it was kind of a pleasant surprise. I liked seeing that build up, and you could see how Leia becomes the character she is.
Yep.
I was hesitant when I first heard that rumor. Was you got a 6-episode Kenobi series? Are we really going to shoehorn in a Leia story into this?
And they wasted no time.
I know. But I think at the time we talked about, like, how else do you get Kenobi off planet and off from watching Luke? I guess narratively it has to be Anakin's other kid.
Yep.
Should be the only other thing.
I didn't realize he didn't know that Anakin wasn't dead.
See, it's
at
another,
the end, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's another point of contention I've had too. I've talked in the trailer reactions. Like at this point in time, like Obi-Wan knows Anakin's Vader. Like I went back and watched the the scene where he watches the security footage from the temple.
Yep.
And when he sees the Sidious footage, when he's bowed down, he says, "Now rise, Lord Vader."
Yep.
Yeah. So he literally calls him Vader. So Kenobi knows
the name
Anakin
Vader
is Vader. So after that duel 10 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
How is he like? Is Vader like a big mystery in the galaxy? Like you would think that everyone, when you hear the word Vader, like it'd be used as a fear tactic, right? Like everyone cowers. Like, oh my god,
he's been hiding for 10 years though.
Yeah, it's like, is that why Kenobi hasn't heard the name Vader through like he's literally the number 2, peg in the old Empire hierarchy for forming the Empire, right? And controlling the galaxy, and he's trained these Inquisitors. It just, it's kind of like, like with Luke after blowing up the Death Star and like having like other, how there's like other Jedis alive now because he kept creating new characters. Like how they, like, shouldn't they not know who Luke is and find Luke? Like he's literally a celebrity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the galaxy, I feel like, Vader would be a prominent thing, but maybe, I don't know, maybe he's undercover. Maybe Obi-Wan is so disconnected in the Outer Rim.
And that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he's just grossly disconnected. Because even in one of the opening scenes, someone says, you have no jurisdiction here. We're in the Outer Rim. I feel like that is fairly disconnected, and he's literally a hermit.
That's true. So if there is no Empire presence, then no one would really be talking about Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do believe when he left that battle with Anakin that he for sure thought he had killed him.
Yep.
I've always thought that. But then it's just like, if he knows Anakin's Vader and he hears stories about, this Lord Vader, then...
Yeah, he obviously...
Yeah, he's been sipping the spice in his cave.
Yep.
Picking up Jawas.
Spice move is good. Oh, yeah, Tika.
What about, did you like the inclusion of the other Jedi literally on Tatooine?
I thought it was pointless.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest. I mean,
I thought
we get it. He's not the person he was before. The reference to run your lightsaber out and bury it in the desert. Obviously some good foreshadowing of him grabbing his and Anakin's. I'm a little bummed that he wasn't double wielding, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. You didn't even ignite it.
But I don't know if it mattered.
Yeah.
Other than to show that he's so disconnected from the Force.
Which I think that's the biggest thing, because when I first thought of the potential other Jedi on Tatooine, like you would think Kenobi would
feel his presence.
Yeah, feel his presence. At least be someone in tune that someone's Force sensitive here.
Even Reva, I can feel you.
Yeah. So what I will say is I was glad that other Jedi found Kenobi and sought him out, because that means that he did kind of know Kenobi was there. You know what I mean? Maybe he felt him or something like that. But I to your other point though, I do believe Kenobi is like Luke on Octu, right? Like he basically just turned the Force off.
Yes, that's literally what I was thinking. And because Leia couldn't feel him until he turned it back on, right?
Yeah, and he struggled with all his might to be able to stop Leia from falling. So
which he could have done with a snap of a finger, right?
Yeah, so he was really struggling. So I guess
So at the end of the day, like we just got basically 2 episodes of just complete setup, right?
Yeah.
We established Kenobi's in a crappy place. Inquisitors and Vader are looking for him, and he really was disconnected from the Force. He's turned it on, and now people know he's alive and he's out in the open.
Yep.
So,
and it's no surprise that it's 6 episodes.
Yeah.
You're going to have blocks of 2. So you're going to have 2 setup, 2 bangerangs, and then you're going to have the 2, your
epic
last 2, which are
finales.
going to be your epic finales.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because I think that if they took anything from Boba Fett, it's okay to have setup.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid to move it along at a good pace.
Yeah.
You don't need to have 5 episodes of setup.
So I think it's kind of weird. For as much we got, I feel like there isn't nearly as much to talk about like we have in other episodes.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that, it was just a lot of character setup, which I'm completely okay with, because hey, we got Ewan McGregor back on screen as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and regardless of what people feel about the episode, I think everyone should just be happy.
100%. What do you think of the end shot with Anakin?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
I love it. And they're really, really teasing that Anakin's.
They nailed it.
He's gonna wake up and get out of his bacta container, and he's gonna start, doing some damage.
I think the best case scenario at the end of this season is that the Anakin Skywalker character from Hayden Christensen is rejuvenated, much to the way out of left field that, Batman, from Batman v Superman and Justice League was a terrible character until Zack Snyder rewrote the Zack Snyder Justice League. At the end of that, you're like, oh, now I really like the Batman character, because he fixed the way it was supposed to be portrayed. I mean, you and I have had a lot of conversations about, Anakin did what Hayden Christensen did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
They just wrote the character maybe a little incorrectly.
Yeah.
So my genuine hope is that by the end of the Kenobi series, that's saved.
Yeah, I think with Deborah Chow's directing, and then even on top of it, like Hayden Christensen now himself in real life is obviously more mature and older, but now he's not playing, the adolescent whiny teen, like all hormone hopped up. He's playing now this like
the
kind of
heartbroken,
cold, calculating,
jaded,
like revenge driven, like he's essentially playing a different character. So it'll be interesting to see how he portrays that.
Absolutely.
I'm excited for it. I had something on my mind before you went that direction.
Before I interrupted you?
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
What was it?
The one thing that, while you think about that and I smell burnt toast, the one thing that took me a little off guard, not necessarily in a bad way, was Obi-Wan's so turned off from the Force, but yet his first conversation with Owen is, when he's old enough, the boy must be trained.
Yeah.
And I found that to be the one very contradictory line to the entire first couple episodes, because he wants nothing to do with the Jedi. He doesn't even acknowledge the one Jedi who acknowledges him.
Yeah, that is true.
He had his first fight scene. He looked like a grade 8 student pulling and tugging at hair. He was rusty.
Yeah, he punched someone.
Yeah, yet he makes that comment to Owen, like, the boy must be trained. Like, what? Yeah, that was the one part that I was like, man, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and even flash forward like years to when, so Luke's 10 in this, right? Leia said she's 10, so Luke's 10.
Yeah.
To whenever A New Hope is, and like Obi-Wan still has never trained him.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it takes stormtroopers to murder his family for Obi-Wan to finally take him. So yeah, it does.
Which means that there's a moment with Owen where he finally caves.
It's almost like that line was just put there so Owen could shoot that zinger at him.
Yeah. That'd be my only not complaint, but like that wasn't needed.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I think we're going to, like, I'm expecting this to ramp up now significantly.
Yep.
And like I said, I think the way this Inquisitor dynamic and the Leia, because he's still in the run with Leia, how those two plot threads come together will really determine how I've really felt about these first two with the setup.
That's fair.
But yeah, I think it was interesting. I think that's what I wanted to bring up. Finally came back.
You got it.
Smoke cleared.
Oh, good for you.
So we got like the flashback, right, of Order 66. It was awesome.
Yep.
We see Obi-Wan dreaming and struggling, seeing flashbacks. But were you a little disappointed that those flashbacks were just Revenge of the Sith scenes just cut and they weren't like newly filmed stuff. Like I would have, like I think a lot of fans are expecting to see a flashback of Obi-Wan and Anakin together, like pre Revenge of the Sith. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm also hoping to see the Trinity, like Ahsoka, in a flashback as well, like the three of them.
Yeah.
And we didn't obviously get that. And I noted to you at the end of the recap before the episode premiere, it ends on Yoda saying, you know, I have training for you. I've been in touch with your master Qui-Gon, blah, blah. And when Obi-Wan's struggling with that dream, he reaches out and asks for Qui-Gon, and it's no one answers his prayers, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. So let me ask you about the Qui-Gon piece.
Yep.
Has Obi-Wan talked to Qui-Gon
No.
prior to this?
No.
You don't think
he can't. He shut himself off from the Force.
So you think
he literally borderline shit himself? I don't know if I can say shit. Sorry. He literally borderline shit himself when he tried to stop Leia from falling.
So when Yoda says, "I have training for you," you don't think he took that homework assignment?
Correct.
That's what I was wondering. So then, do you think we're going to get a moment at the end of the series where Qui-Gon appears?
100%.
And it's kind of like this Zen moment of realization. 100%. I have my purpose. Yeah.
And it'll be after he confronts Anakin.
Yeah.
It'll be that moment of just pure Force release. Yeah. And there will be a moment, because obviously we've speculated that even in the rematch, Obi-Wan gets the upper hand.
Yeah, has to.
I mean, I could be way off. I think
they can't rewrite A New Hope, right?
I think he's going to have a moment where he has the ability to end Vader.
Yeah.
And Qui-Gon is going to appear, and it is literally going to be arguably the best main story part of Star Wars in many, many years. I mean, Mandalorian and other stuff aside, which are cool other stories, but from the main core Skywalker saga, there is going to be a moment there where every Star Wars fan is going to go, well, that was worth it.
Yeah. Now, there is some fan thought, right? Because there was the whole controversy of not controversy, but talking of when in A New Hope, when Vader says, you know, last time I saw you, you were the master. Now I was the learner, but now I'm the master.
Yeah.
It made it seem like that was speaking to Revenge of the Sith, right? Because Obi-Wan was clearly his master.
Yep.
And then, so now if they have another rematch, that's like, really? But now people have been saying there's the line in Return of the Jedi when Vader has Luke captured and he's looking at his lightsaber or whatever and says, you know, when Luke says, you know, they're still good in you or whatever.
Yeah.
And he says Obi-Wan once thought as you did.
Yep.
So that could be kind of, and then at the end of Empire, right? Obi-Wan and Yoda basically tell Luke, there's no redeeming Vader. Like, he's all machine now. Like, you have to kill him. They didn't think it was possible. So that kind of opens up the doorway. Then this final battle does, and you even heard him like in that last shot before it showed Vader when he says like Anakin. Is Obi-Wan going to try to turn, like, redeem Anakin in this battle? I think that's my guess.
But it's going to be a battle. Obi-Wan's going to have the ability to defeat him, and I think this is when you're going to see the Qui-Gons and the Yodas of the world, or something that's going to appear.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only seen episode 1, but my God, yeah, that opening Order 66 was just beautiful.
So good. Is it Derpy? Yeah, Derpy, could not agree more.
Yeah.
What a wicked setup. And the unnamed Jedi, the valiant effort. My only, and I understand I'm drawing at straws here, I look at them struggling in Order 66 with 15 Jedi. And it's hard for me to not think about the Clone Wars when it was like 14,000 to 1 with the battle droids. And they did quite fine.
Yeah.
Now I understand that's a little bit of stretch, and we're talking 2 different timelines, but I'm like, you guys should be able to handle some stormtroopers here.
Yeah.
Like,
and the one thing we scratched our head at too, we both kind of made the same comment, is when he sees the clone asking for credits, begging for credits, and he like purposely goes up to him and gives him the money. We're like, was that the best decision? Like, he's obviously, he has the blue, so he's likely from the 501st once upon a time, and that was led by Anakin. And you know, Kenobi was obviously a lot involved with that stuff too. Like, you know, like, especially Jedi Masters, you would think like most clones know who, like,
100%
the Jedi Council, High Council is, like, they were the generals on the battlefield. Like, obviously he could be PTSD, suffering, chip problems, whatever it is. Like,
Or
obviously he's not in service, but
was that moment for a reason?
yeah, I don't know.
Are we going to see this stormtrooper reappear?
Yeah.
Does he know who he is? Like, that's a moment that kind of passed by. But again, huge stretch. Nothing would make me happier than to see the hobo stormtrooper
Yeah.
do something
Like,
super cool.
Instantly recognize that was Kenobi. But like, then the whole chip inhibitor thing. But I guess at this point, clones have kind of been discontinued. So I don't know. Do the chips even matter anymore at this point in time? Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, it's just, yeah, like, I mean, there's so many little interesting nuggets and plot threads that could really go either way, with payoffs and like, why did they do that? Or thank God they did it that way. So let's give this thing a score. So let's rate both episodes together because we watched it as a premiere. So let's rate them together.
I'll go a solid. Oh, actually, Tristan asked if it was better than Boba Fett. I think it's hard for it not to be because everybody's been waiting for this. Like, Boba Fett, people were intrigued by. Yeah. If you, whether you've been started back in 1978 or if you're younger and started at episode 1 with stupid Jar Jar Binks, I mean, everybody has been waiting for Obi-Wan to make that screen appearance. So I think no matter what, they're gonna love it more, unless it was a total flop.
And I don't think and from a premiere perspective, right? The Book of Boba Fett, I thought episode 1 was good. I love the escape from the Sarlacc, but then I thought, for me, it just,
dragged.
We had battles back and forth on Boba.
It just dragged.
This one, I feel, again, it's a lot of setup. It's not crazy action heavy, but I think it's very interesting. Like, if you like Kenobi, then I think you'll really enjoy yourself, and you could see where this is going to go.
Yeah.
What else we got here? I need to see it.
I'll give you this cyborg. Yeah, the scooter gang on their irons.
So far in Obi-Wan, there's no new characters,
no
or inclusions that kind of bother me.
No dumb cheesy characters.
Like, there's a little new droid, but it was
Lola,
fine.
there has to be.
Yeah, and it fits the Leia character perfectly. The fake Jedi scam thing, I thought was okay.
I thought at first it was dumb, but I loved the redemption at the end. Yeah, no, that was good.
I think
great casting too.
Yeah, for me, I think my biggest question mark, and again, like I said, it's going to depend on the payout is just the relationship between these Inquisitors. Like, it's just Reva's so far falling out of rank and going on her own. I got to see where it goes with it, because it doesn't seem very like Vader loyal Empire, but it also screams craving more power, dark side. You know what I mean? There's two ways I could see it going. One makes more sense than the other, but I guess gotta see how it plays out. I know a lot of people. The reason why I keep going back to this whole Reva thing is I know online and with the leaks, I haven't read them, but I know a lot of the negativity or potential negativities cast towards the Reva character. Yeah. And I thought, as a performance wise, she was fine. Like, she's awesome for the material she's given. She's nailing it. I thought she was great. Yeah. It's just whether or not do you like the direction what her character's doing. Like, she's ruthless. Like, you want someone who's badass, who like was willing to just kill people for basically fun. Like, she's doing. This is
interesting. Sounds like she will have to fight Vader. I don't think so. I think she is loyal to a cult deficit.
See, no, but like, that's what I was getting at. Like, I think that could be in play because, well, again, like Vader, like if you look at Fallen Order, he kills off the second sister for failure. Like, everyone's been scared of him, right? Yeah. Like, I feel like she's, in my mind, and like if it goes this way, I'm more happy with it. I think she's leaning towards more of a confrontation with Vader than reward.
I think it's deep infatuation.
Because I think the fact that she's doing all this Kenobi stuff behind his back, I think is going to piss him right off. And I think she's going to pay for it. Yeah. That's where I'm like, if it goes that direction, I'm happy with how they set it up. If it goes, I'll have to see how other things work, but that's where I'm thinking, because, That's yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, score. Did you give it a score? What'd you say?
Solid 7.5. It was
7.5?
exactly what I was hoping for. It was great setup. I would almost lean closer to 8 because I loved the Leia story so much. I think they smashed it out of the park with the Leia character and the Organas.
I'm gonna normally I'm always lower than you.
You
I'm,
are, yeah.
I'm gonna go higher. I'm actually gonna go 8-1.
The highest score you've ever given was an 8.6.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just happy Kenobi's
I love
back.
it. Fair.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to
Like,
subside
yeah.
my like raw excitement of
Yeah.
it. I want to give it a crazy score.
Yeah.
What was missing that gave it 7.5? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I look at when I give something, and obviously we try our best to be super.
Just to clarify, we like in the 7 to 8 range is solid scores.
Massive.
We want to leave a lot of room for like, you know, Luke showing up at the end of the Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah,
like,
that was
for
our
that moment. We just don't want to
Yeah.
hand out 9s and 10s to everything. It's got to be really there.
Yeah.
You know,
Like we've had good episodes that we rated 7s, 6 8s, 7 2s. It's not that we think it's bad. We're just trying to grade very pessimistically.
Yeah.
So there was nothing missing for me. I thought it was a perfect setup, but I look at the score I gave it from an entire series perspective, maybe not just the episode, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I see this building to something that could be incredible, but for me to say, oh my God, it's an 8.5, and then it doesn't go the way I want it to. So,
and what I would say is,
cool.
Setup episodes in general, I find are always going to be a little bit lower scored. And it's not that they're bad; they're much needed. They're enjoyable.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they lack the excitement, and they lack,
especially as a series opening.
Yeah. But the one thing they lack though is always the payoff, right?
Correct.
This setup is setting up a future episode where we're going to be like, holy shit. Like, that's a 9.5. You know what I mean? Like that's where we're getting with that.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, I think it's interesting directions they're going to go. And we are set up for the plot to really get rolling now, because
for great success.
Yeah, Kenobi's out in the open, Leia's still with them, and Vader's coming out of the tank, and the Grand Inquisitor went down. So
are we going to do this next week? Only, I assume, not in person.
Yeah, we'll stream it. So
10:30, same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah.
Right.
How would you compare? One last question, then we got to sign off. The intro to Mando
and how well it was executed. For me, it was exponentially better. Because Mando and Boba Fett, to me, had zero expectations.
Yeah.
So they could have stumbled out of the gates, and you had nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
We are both passionate about the Obi-Wan character.
Yeah.
I remember having conversations with you about people that were and were not involved in this project, and there was a lot of hesitation. Basically, we're scared blind.
Yeah.
I think they smashed this out of the park, especially because there was so much expectation.
Yeah,
so to me, it's not even close. This might be the best executed start, in my opinion, of any Star Wars property.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point,
because there was so many expectations.
And like with Mando, like you said, like obviously there's expectations, but everything's brand new.
Yeah, and
like,
it's fun.
You're just like kind of in amazement. Like that made it great, but like I don't envy the task they had with Kenobi, because not only do you have to appease all these prequel fans who have been waiting forever for this story, and then also make it appealing to new fans, fit it into canon, and also tell a good story. Like it's like
they smashed it. Yeah, this is the best start of any Star Wars series, in my opinion, so far.
Yeah, it's pretty good,
just based on, again, everyone having their own opinion on it.
Yeah, that's always served the character. Yeah, it's just great seeing Ewan McGregor back.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, so let's wrap this up.
Okay.
Let me know in the comments, when everyone's finished watching this, what you thought. I'm hoping people aren't too negative or down on the opening. I hope people are excited.
Yeah, me too.
But,
and if we're doing this right at 10:30 tomorrow, if anyone is watching, they want to jump on who's watched it. If there are comments and questions, maybe we take a couple minutes to start it off and kind of read a couple out.
Yeah, we totally
wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next week for
part 3.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.